All right, well, Saturday morning to you, everybody. We're back again here on Sports Chat. I'm Herman. It's my boy John. We're
Yes,
gonna
sir.
talk a little bit of sports this morning. John, what's going on with you this week?
What's up, man? It's a little chill. I'm dealing with this schizophrenic weather here in
What's the weather like today in Detroit?
I mean, cool, overcast. A couple days ago it was 80 degrees. So,
Yeah, we had about 75 yesterday. It was nice yesterday.
no, it got up to one day last week, it got up to almost 85. So it felt like mid-July. And
Yeah,
then 3 days later I had my winter coat back on.
yeah,
So
that same thing here in Orlando. Well, I was in St. Thomas, as you know, so uh,
ah right, that's
when I
right.
got back though Saturday, it was beautiful Saturday. Then I think it was, I want to say Tuesday. Tuesday was freezing.
Yeah, yeah.
Now, I'll tell you how cold it was. It was so cold that Grace turned the heat back on. So, that's cold.
Same here. Same here.
Yeah.
So you can
So,
see it's been a little chilly. So I had to put my hoodie on. You know what I'm saying? Just.
you couldn't find a better one than that? You had no Armor or Under Armour or Nike or something? Adidas?
You know what I'm saying? So
Reebok?
I had to put the hoodie on. So that's all.
Would it stand for mad or something? All right, well, the NBA playoffs have started. You've been watching?
Yeah. Been pretty good for the most part. I Draymond, oh have mercy, Jesus.
Well, let me ask you something. Give me your opinion about the whole Draymond situation, the ejection, the stomp, the suspension. What's your take on that?
Suspension, what ejection I get, it was worthy of an ejection. But I think the referees and I think the NBA officials admitted this. The suspension had more to do with his reputation than what actually happened on the. So, because we saw what was that last night or a couple of nights ago?
Yeah,
he kicked somebody in the
knucklers,
and so
yeah. And intentionally too. That wasn't no mistake.
Now, I will say this: he shouldn't have stood over him like that. That was kind of disrespectful for him to stand. But I mean, you went straight for the and I don't think he even got. He didn't even get. Did he get a tag for that?
He got a flagrant
one, which does not warrant us. And then Harden got a flagrant too.
Harden got flagrant too and ejected for doing his normal move that he does. That push off. But his hand kind of caught the little fellas too. But to get ejected, come on.
Yeah, and to label it a flagrant two, I think was excessive. Especially your teammate did. I thought what he did was much more egregious and so just the inconsistency of the officiating. A lot of time it ruins the flow and the enjoyment of the game for me. But I mean, it's been a pretty decent playoffs. I'm surprised that the Nets are down. Well, no, not surprised because they haven't beaten Philly once this year. I don't think.
Right.
But it's been a pretty decent playoffs. Nothing real epic to this point. Nothing that I'm actually really surprised about. I'm not surprised that the Lakers were able to go in and steal a game in Memphis.
No, right, me either. Well, and I think they got the game that I thought they needed. That was the first one.
Yeah.
But if they lose the first, they go down. To me, they would be down 2-0. So they got the first. They didn't come out with a lot of energy. Well, they missed a lot of shots early. The set game too, because I mean, they were getting a turnover. If they would have made some buckets, they would have been up a good 10-12 early in that game too, but they were missing.
Well, I think what the Lakers played like in game 2 was like, hey, we got our split.
Yeah, they did.
And I think that's dangerous because that
always
is more than capable of walking into what is it? Crypto.
Crypto.com.
I still call it Staples Center.
Crypto.com, John. Crypto.com.
That's the Staples Center. Ain't nobody calling it no crypto.com. Anyway, I think they're more than capable of walking into Staples Center. When you get that first game, you always should be greedy and try to get that second game.
Always, I agree with you. Always get greedy. I feel if you got a man down, you gotta snuff him out.
Step on him, and they feel, especially with AD. What did he have? 13 points or something like that. Just one of those. Okay, let's just get out of town. Let's get on the plane. We accomplished what we came here to do, was to get a split. Well, no, you came there to get both games. If you step on the court,
right. If you're playing, you play. Wait, what did Herman Edwards say?
We'll
play the game to win.
I fully expect Memphis to take one of these games in LA. It would not shock me at all, particularly with the troubles that the Lakers have had on their home court. They've lost to far more inferior opponents.
But it's playoff time, John. It's playoff time.
Yeah,
your intensity level is supposed to be up. This is not regular season. You're where you say you wanted to be. Let's show up, people.
Yeah, but I think given their recent history, and then it depends on the key to the Lakers. And I don't want to make this all about the Lakers. There's a whole lot of teams in the playoffs, but the key to me for the Lakers to be a force in this year's playoff is Anthony Davis. Which AD is going to show up? Are we going to get a monster AD that we saw towards the end of the regular season when he was putting up 30, was basically the player of the month in the month of March and putting up 38, 35? Or are we going to get the AD that we saw in game 2? Because it's either it seems like it's always either feast or famine with him. It's one extreme or the other. And depending on how well he plays will determine how well. It's not about LeBron anymore.
No.
He's not that guy that can carry team like he did during his Cleveland days.
Correct.
It depends on which AD we get. So
I agree 100%. Depends on what AD shows up, the aggressive AD or the laid back, just out there looking, waiting to get injured, AD.
Right.
Here's the thing too about the Lakers. They don't have no backup center.
No.
How do you not have a decent backup center? Because then that way, because when AD goes out the game, they're too small.
Yeah.
And you get nothing. You're gonna get nothing in the post.
Well, I think that's probably one of the reasons why they picked up Tristan Thompson. Although I haven't seen him get off the bench.
Yeah, he's probably not ready yet. I mean, you picked him up 2 days before the playoffs start. He ain't in basketball condition, is he?
He's 6'5".
Playoff condition at that.
He's 6'5". He's a big body. So, in case of an emergency, I do expect AD to play the lion's share of minutes.
Yeah, of the minutes. Yeah. No, I mean, to me, look, fellas, suck it up and earn all that money. Yeah. Let's go.
I mean, if this can't motivate you to play, this is the playoffs. This I don't know what is. I will say about the Memphis Grizzlies, they're a young team and they come across as a young team. They do a lot.
They talk a lot.
They talk a lot, and I don't particularly mind it with players that are, or teams that are a bit more accomplished. But there's some of the cockiest young guys in the league, and they really haven't
done jack.
Done anything. And it's just like, where is bravado coming from? Because you really haven't done anything. And Ja, I said this the other night, he better be careful with all of that high flying, because
since you mentioned that, do you know Allen Iverson told him, because he's kind of same body build, whatever, as Iverson. Mm-hmm. Iverson told him, if you want to stick around in the league for a number of years, you gotta stay off the floor.
No better example of that than Derrick Rose. Just tremendously, and I don't think that Ja has the skill set that Derrick Rose had. Mm-hmm. I don't think he has the ball handling, the shooting ability. Very explosive to the basket, but a freak injury can end all of that athleticism. And then what are you left with? I don't think he has in his bag the type of skill set that is necessary for him to have a long career in the event that his athleticism is not there. And when Derrick Rose, and what was so bad about Derrick Rose, his was a non-contact injury.
Non-contact. Yeah.
So, this is one of the standard bearers of the league. Bron, KD, Steph, they're closer to the end of their careers than Ja, even though he's had troubles off the court. I think he's one of the faces that the NBA is looking to push the league and carry the league when these stars begin to fade off into the sunset.
Well, here's my problem with the things now too is this is 2023. You got technology. You're supposed to have the best doctors. A lot of these guys are out with baby injuries. Now, mind you, I'm an old 58, right? I didn't really experience body issues and injuries till I was like after 32, right? So I'm not going, nowhere am I going to compare guys that are 21, 24, 25, 28, 30 to me at 58. I mean, because if I turn the wrong way, something might pop.
Right.
But the thing is what kind of doctors do they have on staff? I mean, these guys are getting hamstring injuries and their calf injuries, and they're out 2 to 3 months. I mean, what's going on?
Here's what I think. I think it's kind of guys are more athletic than they've ever been. Mm-hmm. And you got guys that are high flyers, but I think the league is as soft as it's ever been. If I'm the Clippers, take the Clippers with Kawhi Leonard. I would be so extremely frustrated with Kawhi. You missed an entire year of basketball. You come back and you still got injury issues. You took a whole year off. What is going? And this is going to cost them. That I think they beat the Phoenix Suns with a healthy
with Kawhi.
Yeah, I don't even think you need Paul George.
I agree.
You beat them with a healthy Kawhi Leonard, and this guy is out again in the most crucial time
of the year. And John, not only that, you did what they call it. Management.
Load management. You
did load management all year for the playoffs, and now you're out in the playoffs.
Unbelievable. You load managed the entire year. And you can't get you.
And he was playing well. Wow, there's a lot of people out there. And he's playing well.
Yeah. Did you see game one? Listen, Dude is he's an amazing basketball player. One of the best in the league. But the best ability is availability. You're no good to your team in street clothes.
Say that again so they can hear you in the West Coast.
Best ability is availability.
My Lord.
Talent you have. I don't care how big your bag is. I don't care how great your skill set is. If you are not available, what good is all of that talent? It's like, dude, you load, I'm going to say it again. You load managed the entire year.
Season.
Play back-to-back games. Take it all for this moment. For this moment right here. And now we out again. And he's out again. Out again and get for game 4. Just I'm so frustrated because that team, if healthy, if that Clippers team was healthy, I give them the West. You talking about?
I would give the Clippers with a healthy squad.
Nobody.
They might even win it all.
Yeah, I don't think anybody beats them in the NBA, and not let alone the West. I don't think it beats them.
No, it's true. With everybody healthy, they would be dangerous. But again, they're not healthy, and then even if they come back a game or two, they're gonna be, they're not gonna be at full bore.
Yeah,
but as they say in LA, it's the Clippers. Okay.
What are you gonna do?
What are you gonna do?
I just said, man, you got to be kidding me. You cannot be serious. You cannot be serious. And then what I looked at, did you read what Zion said? Now, here's a guy who was clear to play. Clear. Clear.
Said he doesn't feel like Zion.
I don't know what's wrong with these guys today, man. It's not the NBA that we grew up on. It's not.
Well, the funny part about it is, I don't feel like Herman half of the days, but you got to do what you got to do.
Oh, it's your job. Listen. You know where don't get me started. You know where I grew up. You knew who my examples were. I grew up in Detroit, Michigan. Isaiah Thomas today is my hero. He is my favorite athlete of any sport by far. I watched that man in the 1988 playoffs.
Yeah.
In the 1988 finals. I watched him on one leg.
Yeah. Third quarter.
Put 21 in a quarter and came within a hair of winning the championship against him. On one leg. You couldn't. These guys, those guys were a different breed, man. They were.
Yeah. And listen, so talking about flagrant foul. when I was flying to St. Thomas for my niece's wedding, I was watching on the plane the 30-30, the Boston LA one.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And so they had the thing on there when Mikhail clothesline Rambis.
And Kurt Rambis.
Nobody gets thrown out the game, right? Kurt Rambis, tore his back up, gets up and continues to play.
Unbelievable.
And then the following year, Mikhail's playing on a broken foot.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
The whole playoffs.
Yeah, those guys, they were just built differently. And I'm not saying that you got to be out there playing football on the court. That's not what I'm saying. But again, I'm going to point. Do you remember that Celtics game when Robert Parrish open fist cold cocked Bill Laimbeer?
Yeah.
On the ground. Not just knocked him on the ground. Bill Laimbeer got up and said, "Hey, did he get a foul? What? Let's go back in the game." You know what I'm saying? Yeah. I watched Karl Malone put 40 stitches on Isaiah Thomas.
Yeah,
I watched it. And then these guys want to sit out and load man, and you sitting, you perfect, you clear to play by your doctors, but you don't feel like Zion.
I don't feel like Zion. I gotta
What?
feel like Zion.
What?
I don't want to, I don't want to not be making all my moves that I know I can do. I don't want to be hesitant. I don't feel like Zion. Hello.
Unbelievable. So I don't know what's wrong with I think they're pampered at a very early age. They start a lot of them, especially your upper echelon potential superstar athletes. Those guys start getting recruited in middle school.
Middle school.
Middle school.
Well, whatever. Well, I gotta research. Do you remember that in Sports Illustrated they used to have the ratings of the best basketball players like in each grade?
Yes.
And they started with like the third grade.
Yeah. Crazy.
Crazy.
Listen, Chris Webber grew up in Detroit Country Day, right? I remember they were doing news stories on him at his middle school games before he got to high school. Before he even thought middle school. I'm saying these guys are pampered. They're just, it's just a different environment, man. They didn't have to fight and scratch. A lot of them are millionaires before they even sign an NBA.
Nowadays they are, especially with this NIL.
Yeah, it's just so there's no real hunger and thirst. Those guys scratched and clawed for every ounce of respect that they got back in the day. And I don't want to sound like that old get off my lawn.
Oh, you old man, get off my lawn.
I don't want to sound like Mr. Get Off My Lawn. I don't. But I clearly see the difference between yesterday's athlete and today's athlete, particularly in the NBA.
And I think it's across the board. Football guys too. It's the environment, pampered, entitlement mindset. And you can see it. And like I'm saying, and now with all the knowledge and stuff they have, you would think these guys, the only difference is if you are injured, right, body still takes a heal as it is because it's the body. But like you're saying, Nate, the load management because your primary focus is playoffs. Then you get to the playoff and you're still out. Look at Embiid's not playing tomorrow only because they're up 3-0, right? They feel they could beat the Nets without him. So, you got a knee sprain for game 4. You're going to sit this one out, rest up earlier for the next series. I mean,
I think that's on. They're up 3-0. They can afford.
Yeah, that's no doubt about it.
That's the if they were tied. Oh, well, they can't be tied after 3 games. But if they were down a game, he'd be playing. This is just due to the fact
that they're up 3-0.
And so for that, I mean, I don't. But dude, I'm going back to Kawhi. Your team.
Don't Stephen A. him, John. Don't Stephen A. him.
It's just so utterly frustrating to me. Because I read that report and I was like, wow.
Yeah.
All of that load management was supposed to prevent this.
That's what it was for.
You
and then they slowly put him in, last 10 games or slow, build back up his basketball cardio and everything. And then, I mean, he was balling.
He's one of the best. He's a beast on the court. You got to have him on the court if you want any chance. You can't let Russ be out there by himself without.
And Russ just needs to slow down.
Well, I think the trade was good for both teams.
Yeah. Well, here's the thing. In my Laker fan opinion, I'm a Laker fan, people, but Russ was balling for the Lakers. It wasn't Russ. They just didn't have a good mix.
Yeah, I called it out from the beginning. I don't think he's a bad player. I think it was a bad
fit
because he did what he always does.
Did what he always did.
And so,
I mean, yeah, no doubt.
On two ball dominant guys, two guys. It was never going to work, in my opinion.
Yeah. And again, they didn't play that much together. Number one, truth be told, because they were oft injured. LeBron and AD. Russ was out there all the time.
Yeah, Russ had a few good games when both of those guys were out. So I was harder on Russ than I think I should have been. Especially now he's in a better environment. He seems to be more at peace, doesn't have to live with the pressure of
because of playing with the Lakers and no doubt about it. And I knew that would be. I don't care where he went. I knew that would be the case.
Yeah, Los Angeles is a Lakers town. Let's just
speaking of injuries, the Yankees signed Carlos Rodon, the pitcher from San Francisco, $163 million contract. He was out spring training because he felt strain in his forearm or something. Now he's down with a back injury. Hasn't pitched one inning. Right. Was supposed to come back in late April, which is here now. So we signed $163 million, and I'm gonna say it here live. Probably another flop as a pitcher signing for the Yankees.
Yeah,
Cashman, you gotta go.
Well, listen. The New York Yankees could sign me for 100. They when you have your own, basically your own cable network, and that's a team with unlimited resource. They can make $163 million mistake and won't flinch. On to the next. Whereas a team like the Tigers, we got to hit on every prospect that we sign, because if we don't, those types of teams have unlimited resources. So I don't.
Well, it hasn't helped us in 14 years.
Yeah,
unlimited resources.
Is that the last
time the world? Cole is showing up to be what he's supposed to be. Everybody else, Severino, Rodon, come on, fellas, and yet use some of that money you got for a better doctor staff. It's ridiculous.
Yeah.
You talking about Kawhi Leonard? Carlos Stanton, he injured again, hamstring again. 2 weeks into the season.
Let me ask you that: how long does Aaron Boone last?
Well, Boone, I like Boone. Boone has done a good job with what they're giving him. Right. The thing is, you only can put out there what you got. It's obvious Boone is just the manager. I don't think he had much say with the player movement, because they got guys they could bring up, but the Yankees mess young guys up.
Let me ask you this, and this is kind of, and I know we're nearing the end of the show, so we can probably discuss this next week. And this is cross the sports spectrum, not just baseball. Do you think that head coaches should also be the GM? Because the argument has been, if I'm being judged by what's being cooked in the kitchen, then I at least should be able to buy the ingredients. Meaning,
yeah, I understand. It's funny you mention that, because a quick story before we have to close. Our church, the that I pastor, we used to have what was called a buying committee, right, for our convention, and they would buy what the cooks needed. And so when I became pastor, I cut the buying committee out. Folks is hot, red hot, whatever. But to me, I thought it was foolish because I know what I like to use for what I'm going to make.
Right.
And so, but because you're on the buying committee and maybe a little cheaper than I am, you're gonna shortchange me because you're gonna buy what you think is a better buy. But that's not what I like to use.
So if a GM hires or if a GM signs a player that a coach didn't necessarily want, should that coach be held liable if the team doesn't? Because
I don't think so. I think they need more unity together as the club in their player and movement. I think the coach should be. I think you should get some input from him or of the players that he's looking for. That should be a known fact that I'm a running coach, so I need guys with speed, right? Or maybe you like the guys that hit the long ball, so we're gonna get big clobbers, right? But your GM should know what his manager is about.
Absolutely.
The dictation shouldn't come from above of how what I should be doing on the field. If that's the case, you come down and run it.
Right. Like I said,
there has to be, there's got to be across the board. There needs to be one accord together in that sense when it comes to player who you're getting and who you don't get. Because and it's amazing because, like you're saying, most of the time the manager or the coach takes the hit and the GM remains.
I'm like, I didn't ask for this guy.
Yeah, correct.
Correct. I just feel I'm going to be judged on the team's performance. That I should have.
You should have some say, or they should be following your roadmap. Don't bring me somebody that don't fit with what we do. That don't make sense.
I agree. Real quick, who you got? Who's playing tonight? Who? I know
you got Milwaukee and Miami. The Lakers and the Grizzlies. You got the Nets and the Sixers, and somebody else. The Clippers and the Suns play today as well.
So I'm going to take Memphis tonight. I think they steal game 3 and take and what's funny is that, do you know, and I didn't realize this, Memphis is 33-13 without Ja Morant.
Oh yeah, they always played well without him.
They play exceptionally well without him.
Well, again, because they're moving the ball. He's not dominating the ball. Right. And a lot of time the other players, when that star player's around, they tend to stand around and watch instead of getting involved.
Yeah, Desmond Bain and all of these guys, when I saw that, I was like, wow, they're not in as much trouble as I thought they would.
Because I wish the Lakers had a better reserve center.
Yeah.
Because again, our whole playoff is contingent on AD, and then if he's not on the floor, it's even worse for them.
Yeah. Well,
so here's a guy that lacks energy, but you're relying on him, and then when he's not there, what is one to do?
I think they're going to
listen. Before we close out, big fight tonight.
My brother, I'm not a huge boxing guy, but my brother was telling me that it was a
big fight tonight. Tank Davis against Ryan Garcia.
Yeah.
Two of the best young fellas in boxing. Finally, and boxing has great fighters most of the times in the smaller divisions, not the heavyweights. So in the smaller divisions, you're not going to get two better guys than Davis, Jelante Davis, and Ryan Garcia.
I'm going to tell you when I stopped watching boxing. This was years ago. I stopped watching boxing after that Marvin Hagler, Sugar Ray Leonard fight.
Oh, man, that's 1989?
That was the phoniest fight I ever seen in my life. I said, never.
What was you, 15?
I'm probably younger than that. You'll never make me believe. And boy, this is something I can talk for hours. Sugar Ray Leonard was coming out of 5 years of retirement.
Yeah.
And he comes back and beats the meanest, nastiest, most menacing middleweight champion you've ever seen in Marvin. Man, the fight was so. I said, "You don't insult my intelligence. I'm not watching this." I don't know who that was in that ring, but that wasn't Marvin Hagler. I don't know who that.
Well, and that's my problem because now I met Sugar Ray. I was a big Sugar Ray Leonard guy. But Marvin Hagler did nothing in that fight, John. He did nothing.
I mean, he let him. He would hit. That was the most fixed, phoniest fight I ever seen in my life. You'll never convince me that was a legitimate fight.
I mean, he did. No, I was actually afraid for Sugar Ray to fight Hagler after so long.
And right? you come out of retirement 5 years. This guy was the meanest, nastiest, most, and you
feared middleweight at the time.
And you come out of 5 years retirement and beat the middleweight.
And I mean, and outspeed him, out everything. It was ridiculous. It really was.
So no, I swore off boxing after that.
Why after that? That's a long time ago.
I mean, every now I would peek my head in every now and then. I thought Lennox Lewis was probably the last great heavyweight champion that I saw or that I paid attention to. I'm not into what was it, Tyson, Fury, and all of it.
Yeah.
Yeah, but yeah. So I can't talk very entirely.
Well, it's gonna be. It should be a good one.
But I may watch it anyway.
Davis and Garcia. It should be good. And again, the thing with boxing, you never know how it's gonna turn out. You never do.
My brother's a huge boxing fan.
Is he?
Man, yeah, he's like, you gotta watch this. Man, I don't care about
Yeah. I'm even contemplating. Well, a lot of time my brother Ronald sends me a link. Yeah, you can watch it for free.
Yeah.
But Davis and Garcia, this might be worth spending a little cash.
Okay. Now I may look at it just because y'all. That's the second person I've heard recommend this fight. So
yeah, I'm recommending it. And then they got another one coming up, Haney against Lomachenko. That's gonna be a good one too. I think Lomachenko's getting kind of gray around the beard though, but he's a steady. I think he's a European guy. Keeps coming, always in front of you. So that's going to be interesting as well.
Okay.
Yeah. So what's the name? They're playing the chicken game, the Crawfords and the what? But these two fights are legitimate boxing.
Looks like your word.
They're worth the ticket. Yes.
I'm gonna take your word.
All right, fellas. And ladies out there, we're glad to be with you again on Saturday Morning Sports Chat. We'll see you next. And next week we have a special guest. You don't want to miss this guy. Him and John are two of the biggest LeBron fans you're ever going to meet. And he'll be with us next Saturday as well. So you want to tune in next Saturday, 11 o'clock, here on the Soul Sister Network, Soul Sister 10X Network, here on Sports Chat. John, checking out. Have a good week.
Take it easy.
All right. Be blessed.
Yeah.